Russia-Ukraine war is nearing a year since it began in February 24th. While there has been a growing call to end the war where no side benefits, we'll talk about the one side that always benefited from a war: the weapons and arms industry and arms brokers. Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching World Today. The full-scale Russian war against Ukraine gave a new impetus to the global arms market, challenging brokers to find Soviet-era arms and ammunition for Ukraine urgently, but also providing them with the remarkable cash flow.
The full-scale war between Russia and Ukraine has left economies in shock with global ripple effect. But one sector has been quietly humming: the arms industry. Eastern Europe's industry is churning out guns, artillery shells and other military supplies at a pace not seen since the Cold War, as governments in the region led efforts to aid Ukraine in its fight against Russia. While much of the military aid is coming from the US, the UK and Europe, but in the initial months of the war, Ukraine required Soviet-era arms and supplies, since that is what they have in their military stockpile. However, in the latter part of the year, the focus shifted to other options as well, with none other than US President Joe Biden promoting the American makes.
A big part of the reason they've been able to keep up fighting and to make this war a strategic failure for Russia is because the United States, together our allies and partners, have had their back. You know, some of the best, most effective weapons in our arsenal are those Javelin missiles, like the ones manufactured right here in Pike County. They're highly portable. They're extremely effective against a wide range of armored targets.
Still wary of Russia, their Soviet-era master, some former Warsaw Pact countries see helping Ukraine as a matter of regional security. But the conflict also presented new opportunities for the region's arm industry. Poland's state-owned PGZ controls more than 50 companies making weapons and ammunition, from armored transporters to unmanned air systems, and holds stakes in dozens more. It now plans to more than double its pre-war target.
We are developing, expanding our abilities. We're preparing for increased deliveries not only to the Polish market, and we are aware of that. We are in many discussions with potential customers from third countries who would like to equip their armies with Polish equipment.
Other manufacturers from Slovakia and the Czech Republic too are increasing production capacity. Some Eastern European militaries and manufacturers began emptying their warehouses of Soviet-era weapons and ammunition that Ukrainians were familiar with. As those stocks have dwindled, arms makers have cranked up the production of both older and modern equipment to keep supplies flowing.
Český obranný průmysl je jednoznačně konflikt na Ukrajině a česká pomoc.
For the Czech defense industry, the conflict in Ukraine and the assistance the industry provides to the defenders is clearly a boost that we have not seen in the last 30 years. It is not only that this year will be an absolute record in the export of military material, but it is also about quality. It's about the fact that historically we can get access to technology, to a partnership with one of the world's largest arms industries, and that's a huge opportunity.
Meanwhile, the US is the largest provider of military assistance to Ukraine, having committed $27.4 billion since the start of the Biden administration. $26.7 billion of that assistance has been provided since February 2022. As the second largest donor, the UK committed £2.3 billion in military assistance to Ukraine so far and has pledged to match that assistance in 2023. The European Union has committed €3.6 billion. It is also providing non-lethal and lethal arms through its European Peace Facility. This is the first time the bloc has in its history approved the supply of lethal weapons to a third country. But much of the aid would go into procuring military equipment and be rerouted to the arms companies.
Supporting Ukraine's ability to fight off Russian aggression to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity is a worldwide commitment. Every member of that coalition for continuing to step up. The UK, the United Kingdom, recently announced that it's donating Challenger 2 tanks to Ukraine. France is contributing AMX-10s, armored fighting vehicles. In addition to the Leopard tanks that Germany, like the United States, Germany is also sending a Patriot missile battery. The Netherlands is donating a Patriot missile and launchers.
Desperate for arms, Ukraine is ready to buy at any cost. European private arms dealers saw an opportunity and drove the prices of their services. According to Kyiv Independent, in one case they found that one broker took 3 to 6 times the market average for mediation. It defeated the purpose of helping Ukraine since prices affected the allies' spending power. The higher the prices, the fewer weapons Ukraine ended up receiving to defend itself. Bulgaria, which is dependent on Russian gas, banned direct sales of its weapons to Ukraine back in 2016. But after Russia invaded Ukraine further, Bulgaria secretly sent arms supplies through intermediaries, according to Politico. Ukraine has a long history of corruption in military procurement. Now, amid martial law, bidding is no longer public, which makes it almost impossible to trace where the money goes. It does not help that the European arms market is secretive too and provides full anonymity to traders eager to charge extra.
Earlier I spoke with a member of parliament from Germany, Tilman Kuban, and he spoke specifically on the tanks that Germany is sending to Ukraine. Listen in. Mr. Kuban, do you think that Germany, or for that matter, the European bloc or the West, has done enough? Because every time we see Ukraine is calling out for help in terms of weapons, and now Germany is sending tanks. How do you see the cooperation and the strengthening of Ukraine continue through Germany?
Actually, the 24th of February has changed the world. Something happened which I never thought that it would happen in my life, that there is a war in Europe back again. And I'm very, very close to the Ukrainians. I've been there a lot of times and have a lot of friends over there. And that is why I'm thinking of how we're supporting them and how much we can support them. Because these guys are fighting for our values. They're fighting for democracy. They're fighting for freedom against dictator Vladimir Putin. And we try to support them as much as we can. We know that the Russians have a huge military, they have a lot of soldiers, and that is why we need to support this smaller country, Ukraine, as much as we can. Now we're sending heavy tanks, that's quite good, but we are discussing about aircraft as well, because...
Is there reluctance there for the aircraft?
Yeah, we're discussing it at the moment. So let's see what happens in the next weeks. But from my perspective, there will be aircrafts from the western side to support the Ukrainians in the end. It is always a checks and balances, because we don't want to have a conflict, a NATO conflict with Russia, but we want to support Ukraine, because we know that Putin has an aim. His aim is not only Ukraine. Afterwards, he wants to have a bigger Russia. He's discussing about the Baltic states. He's also focusing on Poland.
So you're saying he's expansionist.
Yes.
It is not confined to Ukraine.
It is not Ukraine in the end, and that is why we are supporting them as much as we can.
Amid the Russia-Ukraine war and heightened tensions between Israel and Iran, concerns over nuclear threat have increased, and the raging debate over nuclear capabilities seems to be at the forefront of global conversations. But there is a bigger concern that certain countries are grappling with. In this day and age of advanced technology and weapon systems, the war or conflict has moved towards drones, drone technology and air defense systems. Recently, Israel struck deep inside Iran, targeting a drone manufacturing factory. Why? We tell you.
Amid heightened tensions engulfing Iran, a defense factory in its central city of Isfahan was attacked by bomb-carrying drones. It caused minor damage to the plant. The Iranian Defense Ministry said in a statement, 3 drones were launched, 2 of which were shot down successfully. A third one, however, made its way to the plant. Iran claimed to have intercepted the drones and said there were no casualties or serious damage. The Iranian foreign minister called the attack a cowardly action.
The insecurity the enemies of Iran created in the Islamic Republic of Iran and in our country was a cowardly action that took place today. Our security organizations are bravely acting towards bringing about maximum security in the country. Such actions will not impact us.
A US official said Israel is suspected to have been behind the attack. Spokesperson for the Israeli military, however, denied to comment. Amid these tensions, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Israel and met the top officials.
Continue to work together to confront and counter the dangerous and destabilizing influence of Iran. As President Biden has made clear, the United States is committed to preventing Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. Iran is a threat not only to Israel and the region, but increasingly to the world.
His visit was appreciated by the Israeli leadership.
Thank you for coming. You are a true friend of Israel. Your visit comes at a critical time. It sends a clear message to the region. The United States and Israel are united, facing Iran or anyone threatening peace and stability in the region.
The West and Israel have been feeling the heat of Iran's advancement in drone technology. Iran's most rapidly advancing air capability, which it had not only been using against Israel, but also has been providing the same to Russia in the war against Ukraine. Isfahan, the site of the latest Israeli attack, is located less than 100 miles from Natanz, which is home to a major Iranian nuclear facility. It is the site of at least 4 small nuclear research facilities, drone and missile production, and other research and development projects for Iran. The growing military unmanned aerial vehicle program provides Iran with an additional means of lethal power projection outside of its borders, further enhancing its ability to threaten the US and its allies. With Arushi Moindra, Bureau Report, India Today.
News from Pakistan, a shocking video has emerged where a group of miscreants from the extremist group Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan were seen destroying the minarets of an Ahmadiyya mosque in Karachi. This is the 5th such incident that has happened within the last 3 months. This is the same Ahmadiyya community or the mosque where TLP terrorists came last year demanding to destroy the minarets. The Ahmadiyya branch of Islam has been subject to various forms of religious persecution. They are considered non-Muslims by the mainstream in Pakistan. And some other important news from across the globe in World at a Glance.
After classified documents were found at former US Vice President Mike Pence's residence, the FBI conducted a thorough 3.5-hour search at Joe Biden's house. According to Biden's lawyer, no classified documents were found during the search. However, some documents have been taken for further view. Thousands of people took to the streets to oppose the pension reforms proposed by the French government. The protests severely impacted public transport and the police had to use tear gas to disperse the crowd. The French Labour Minister, however, said raising the retirement age from 62 to 64 was non-negotiable. A Pakistan provincial officer has revealed that the accused in the mosque bomb blast case that killed over 100 people was wearing a police uniform. He was caught on CCTV entering the high-security area on a motorcycle. The accused is also believed to be part of a militant network. Actor Alec Baldwin has been charged with involuntary manslaughter for his alleged disregard for safety that proved to be fatal for cinematographer Helena Hutchins. This comes months after Baldwin accidentally shot Hutchins while rehearsing with a revolver on a film set. Australia's central bank said the country will be replacing the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on its $5 notes. The image of British monarch King Charles, however, will not be replacing the Queen's image. It will be replaced with a design that will honour the history of Australia's indigenous culture.
That's all in this edition of World Today, but before I go, I leave you with visuals of this runway stunt that has gone viral at Fashion Week. On the first day of Copenhagen Fashion Week, a clothing brand went viral after the show's final model got up from her table where guests were seated and dragged the entire tablecloth which was connected to her skirt with her, causing plates and glasses to hit the floor. On that note, goodbye and take care.